There's this podcast I watch sometimes on YouTube called A Bit Fruity with Matt Bernstein. Berenstain? I don't know how you say his last name. I'm just going to go with the podcast title, A Bit Fruity. And recently had an episode all about the Hawk Tuah girl. If you don't remember, this is like a year in the future. There was a young woman who was interviewed on the streets of Nashville, asked, how do you pleasure a man? And she said, Hawk Tuah got a spit on that thing. Now, it's a very interesting podcast. It was sort of talking about her as a phenomena. It traced the history of basically meme phenomena over the years. It went into the nature of sort of race and class and gender. It was very interesting. And part of what made it so interesting is that it turns out that Hawk Tuah girl has started her own website that's called, and I haven't checked this, but I assume that the podcast is right, 16minutes.life. So there's the famous quote from Andy Warhol that everybody gets 15 minutes of fame. And there now exists this question of what is the 16th minute? Now that everybody gets famous, and that's more true now than it's ever been, how do you make it to the 16th minute? How can Hawk Tuah girl be more than just Hawk Tuah girl? How can she be a politician, a pundit, an astronaut, whatever the hell she wants to do? However you take this randomness of life that can just shoot anybody into the stratosphere of name recognition, face recognition, how do you turn that into something else? So on this podcast, he talks about how some people just say, just let her be a meme. Let her die. People like this, they shouldn't keep trying. They shouldn't keep doing things. But he puts forth the idea that she has enough charisma, that she has enough skill, that she is properly placed in our society, in particular being a thin, white, blonde girl. Woman, a thin, white, blonde woman who in popular consciousness will always get sort of a leg up, and especially how it's perceived of by the right-wing griftosphere. It's pretty fascinating. But this podcast is great because it really helps you to understand that this whole cycle is so often happens so often, especially with young women, and how the misogyny that's all over the place, and especially on the internet, plays into the way that we perceive of these women. And it's not a coincidence that Hawk Tuah girl is famous for some kind of sex act or describing a sex act. And the way that she's talked about, the way that she's idolized, denigrated, all that kind of plays into the way that we dispose of young women, the way we take them and sort of use them for our satisfaction, for our humor, to prove some kind of point about the way women are, and then expel them. Which brings me to Ice Spice. Now, why am I talking about Hawk Tuah girl and Ice Spice? Well, I think Ice Spice is sort of a Hawk Tuah-like figure. She also rose to fame on TikTok, doing some kind of shaking her butt challenge. I don't know the exact one. She's seen as a fake internet rapper. If you follow online discourse, everybody either thinks that she's a plant or that she's just going to absolutely disappear. Which is why I got a lot of kickback last year when I put forth the theory that Ice Spice is one of the top 5 rappers alive right now. Thank you for auditing the Always Positive New Music Review Show, hosted by a French professor who's going to revisit this premise. Did this project, Y2K, her first LP, her first almost LP, has it confirmed what I thought she would be? Now, when I gave you this list, the greatest of right now, which is what I call Gorns, the greatest rappers of right now, it's not like I'm saying that she's Tupac. I'm trying to analyze rap music as it is right now. Like, what is the actual zeitgeist, the actual spirit of the moment? So when I talk about the top rappers, I'm talking about skill, rhymes, and flow, and voice. Not necessarily bars. I'm not saying she's got the best bars. I'm not saying that Ka or Billy Woods has nothing on her. What I'm saying is her rhyme and flow and voice, particularly of the moment, I believed, is some of the best that's out there. Beat choice, song construction, and influence. But most important to me was an intangible quality. That's what interests me the most about the greatest of right now. The intangible quality is my own personal level of interest to see what are they going to do next. That's why I put Ice Spice there. I really liked her EP. I liked the singles that she was coming out with. I thought even though there's no shortage of foul-mouthed, butt-showing, female rappers. There was something about the way that she was doing it which made me think there's something special there. So, that's the question. Does Ice Spice get a 16th minute? Does the timer not apply to her? Is she an artist? Is she just trash? These are all the questions. And at the end of the video, I'm going to answer the question. Trash or the greatest artist alive right now? Okay, now there's a lot of things against her, right? Obviously, she's put forth often by personifying a certain kind of beauty standard, in particular, a certain kind of butt. And she talks a lot about her butt. Pay attention. I said this on the Megan Thee Stallion video, that it seems like now women are often emphasizing one part over another. So Megan Thee Stallion was mostly talking about her vagina. No vagina talk on this album. It's really just about her butt. And by that, it goes into whole theories of metonymy. Check out my Megan Thee Stallion video on that. It's pretty interesting. So, it's a little boring. We've had a lot of songs about women's butts. The songs are pretty short, 2 minutes long. They don't develop a lot. They feel very TikTok-y, but again, if music sounds TikTok-y, does that mean it's bad or does that mean it's good because that's the moment? Are we going to judge all modern music based on previous modes of musicianship? In which case, I come from the 19th century where we didn't have recorded music. So all this recorded music is just trash and garbage. Bob Dylan, the Beatles, Miles Davis, they all suck because music should only ever be performed live. Okay? That's how silly it is to look down on music because it is TikTok friendly. So, but still, hey, as a music critic, as somebody who's listening to this, it's a little bit of a bummer. And it's an LP, but it's like 23 minutes long. It's an LP shorter than most EPs. Now let's say for her. Okay, yeah, it's true. She's rapping a lot about her butt. But you know what she's not rapping about? The exchange value of sex. When you hear me talk about female rappers so often, the thing that kills me, and this even applies to WAP, which is, one of the greatest songs of this century. I'm not being facetious, I'm being serious. It's still like if I use my WAP really well, then he will buy me a bag. Just the same transactional horse hockey that has kept patriarchy in place since the turn of the millennium, all right? Or the turn of 1,000 millenniums, okay? This kind of transactional sex is not on this album. And that's pretty awesome. And there's actually not that much sex on the album. And when there is sex, very often her pleasure is centered in that sex. She talks about literally coming first. She's talking about that, literally and metaphorically. And it's a short album, but hey, I'm a music reviewer. I saw this album came out. I knew I was going to review it. And I was like, 23 minutes. Thank you. I was afraid it was going to be one of these 24-song slogs with 1,000 features. There's not too many features on this album, just the right amount. It's short. It's sweet. There's no bloat. It is 0% bloat fat. We do not need to de-Drakify this album. It is just out there. It's just great. Bite size. Perfect. Also, hey, let's recognize the fact that she's made it pretty big, right? And what do most people do when they make it big? So if you don't know, my barber is this really cool guy named Josh. And he's really, I found him randomly. My wife found him randomly. But it turns out he's really, he produces some rappers in the Rochester area. And he sort of tells me how it happens very often where people make it big. And the second they make it big, even if they make it off of the bottom rung of show business, they abandon the people who they were with, right? Kind of makes sense. So you think Ice Spice is making it big, she's at the Super Bowl, she's famous, she's recognizable, that she's going to drop her producer. But her producer, Riot USA, produces every single track on this album. Which for my money, for my taste, is excellent. That shows a certain level of taste, sophistication, artistic vision. And he's good. And did you know he's a Nepo baby? I love rap music because you have the least predictable Nepo babies. His father was a DJ at the Hot 97 in New York. He was a member of the Flip Squad with Funkmaster Flex. He was the notorious B.I.G.'s road DJ. That's the producer's father of this entire album, you know? I love rap nepotism because it's not like he doesn't deserve to be there. He's a great producer, but he had all that access. Another point in favor of Ice Spice, the online criticism, is that she only has one flow. She has a ton of different flows on this album. A lot more ambitious wordplay, a lot more rhyme play. Even the beats are more ambitious. Even Riot USA is doing a lot more here. This new flow that she has in particular that interests me the most is this kind of tired voice, which I really enjoy. So those are the kind of pros and cons. Now what about the title, Y2K? Why are you listening to an old man talk about Ice Spice? I mean, you saw my thumbnail where I'm imitating it, right? Like whatever the opposite of thick is, that's what I showed you with my thumbnail. Too much French fries, not enough shake. But, you know, it's hilarious because she was born on January 1st, 2000, which is interesting. If you were alive like I was, I'll just tell you a little story. What the hell? We're all here. I wasn't afraid of Y2K. My friends and I weren't afraid of Y2K. We didn't care, is what we said. We actually spent Y2K at a beach house and a little stockpile of food. We didn't want to be around civilization. So I ushered in the 2000s by throwing a rock into the ocean and doing my world-famous Godzilla noise. That's what I was doing. And at that exact moment, I was 24 years old. At that exact 23. I was 23 years old, 22, doesn't matter. I was a young man. I was about the age that Ice Spice is, and she was being born. I like the idea of calling it Y2K, and I especially like that this doesn't mean that we had to have a 2000s-like album. It's just a fairly standard modern rap album with a little bit of thematics of the 2000s. I like it. I like the idea. I think it's interesting and it reminds you of how young she is. So let's get into the album. Here's my stamp, the best track of the album. Click above the music stand that I usually use to hold up the camera with the song BB Belt. This is a really promising 2 minutes of rap, okay? Stop playing with him, Riot. I love that the producer tag is from her. It's the most avant-garde beat, the most interesting beat, this thumping sound, and also a little bit of the sound that a telephone makes when you leave the phone off the line. Weird, backwards, whiny, screaming sounds, and as that song builds, there's these more horrific sounds in the back. And we have this great opening chorus. Truey's on and I BB my belt. So like Truey means true religion, like the jeans, and I guess BB is like a belt thing. I don't know. It's 2000s fashion. I'm Miss Poopy, but I never smell. Ice Spice calls herself Miss Poopy. I approve. That's a very funny thing to call yourself. If you were famous and you could call yourself anything in the whole world, I'm the Cobra. I'm the Hawk. I'm Skull Crusher 3000. I'm Miss Poopy. It's great. He hit my line because he know I'm myself. He got a B word, but he know I don't tell. You know, he likes me because I'm myself. That's the thing. She has that easy charisma. She has that thing which very few other rappers actually have, but they all try to counterfeit, being comfortable with yourself. I'm a baddie, so F how she felt. I'm a baddie like F how you feel. And I'm thick because I don't miss a meal. Healthy eating habits. I appreciate it. And what's great is that she does this thing where this opening chorus leads right into the first verse. A little bit of rhymecraft here, you snobs. A little bit of rhymecraft. Because she says, and I'm lit because I just signed a deal, which connects to the chorus. And then she starts the next series of rhymes. Everybody be knowing my name, just want the money, I don't want the fame. And it's true, everybody does know her name. Do you remember that she was at the Olympics? At the Super Bowl with Taylor Swift? You want to see me do my impersonation of Ice Spice at the Super Bowl? Sorry, I blinked too much. She was miserable. I don't know what she was doing there. But you know what, though? You know what? My neighbor next door has a Swift 2024 yard sign up there. It says presidential era. Cool, funny. Who should be Taylor Swift's vice president but Ice Spice? Her Spice president, right? Wouldn't that be a good ticket? some of this kind of like whispery style that I'm talking about. Great, her great ad libs of gra. The second verse doesn't really continue from the chorus, but it has a little bit of different style. And I'm thick, but I don't got no waist. Think she pretty, but she's changing her face. Some great New York slang using the term coo, meaning cuckoo, meaning crazy. And she's just aware that her like presence and her just existence is what makes her so great. And this is the reason why people don't like her. Because that's like when one of your greatest attributes is just your essence, just your vibe. It feels unfair because other people are working on their craft. This is, Lil Bill said it, and I've heard a lot of people say it, right? FT Signifier also, I think, I don't know, maybe I don't know who said it first, but I definitely know it wasn't me. But the female rappers in the mainstream are the best MCs, right? In the mainstream, they're the ones who are doing the most work. Not Ice Spice. She's not doing that work. She's in the vibe area. She's trying to be more of a vibey rapper. But still, she does lots of really cool stuff on this song and all the way throughout. And this leads right into Not Even the Fart, which I'll get into later. I'm going to go through the rest of the album a little bit quicker here. First song is called P-Hat Butt. Fat Butt. Kind of like a Terminator 2 bass buzz. Different flows. I really enjoy that. The second verse here is very centered on female pleasure. Let him beat it from the back and he eat it up like Pac-Man. Again, talking about her butt, but that's fine. We came from the Ford line to the 4 times Grammy nominated, talking about where she came from the Bronx to being nominated. She is this whole story. It's a TikTok beat, but it's good. Next song is called Oh Shh, featuring Travis Scott. Kind of a rough intro. She's really in her kind of Pop Smoke Light style here. Cool kind of stuttered hi-hat. It's fine. This is my favorite song. In my opinion, Travis is not trying that hard. It's nice, his flows here with his weird sounds in the back, but it feels like it might just be a check. Next track is called Popa. That great tired style, great drill, kind of generic horns. Told him I love him, I'm trolling. Drop a pin, I'm bowling. My twins, Olsen. I don't know. Sorry. And this segues directly, and that's part of what makes this album interesting. I said sorry because I lost my train of thought. My notes for this album are weirdly choppy. They're choppier than usual. But I don't edit my videos, so you just have to be there. It segues directly into the next song, which is nice because that is what makes this feel like not just a collection of Lucy's, it is actually an LP, to the song B-Word, I'm Packin'. So it's a song about like a couple that's about to go on vacation, and the wife is asking the husband, like, have you packed, have you packed, have you packed? And it's just like, he's done most of the packing, but like not all of it, and he just gets really frustrated. And so he just lets out the B word. It's terrible. God damn, that was a bad joke. A little more of an ominous beat here. Obviously, it's about having a butt. That's what it is. She's packing a jat, which turns out a New York slang for a fat butt. I thought it might be a gun. I thought maybe she's talking about having a gun, but no. But again, I like the reciprocity here. Okay, this is not exchange value of sex. She's not having sex and therefore getting money. They are having a reciprocal, enjoyable, natural, zesty encounter. I got what he got what I need. That's what sex should be. Talks a lot about her like skin. Mixed bitch, but I ain't no pedigree. I like this idea though because it's interesting about the fact that she has a black father and a mother, I think, from the Dominican Republic. So it's that sort of like multicultural thing and like no pedigree. I really enjoy that. By the way, I don't do sponsorships, so I'm sponsored by Don't Buy Purebred Dogs. Just don't do it. There's no such thing as a dog breed, by the way. Did you know that? Did you know that there's no such thing as a dog breed? There's just one breed of dog. Just like there's only one breed of human. So just knock it off with the paying thousands of dollars to have... Anyways. Next song is called Plenty Sun. Nice kind of tinkling synths, but still sort of a generic beat. What's the thing about the beats on this album? When they're really good, they're really good. And when they're bad, they're fine. This whole lyric makes me uncomfortable, though. He like, bae, you hella fine, but you hella young. I'm like, baby, don't you worry, I'm like 20-something. I don't know. I knew a woman once who told me that when she was 20, she was swept off her feet by a 40-year-old who had a private jet and just like flew around all over the place. And it was weird because like she didn't didn't really describe it as an exploitative thing. She seemed to be sort of okay with it. You tell me in the comments if you'd be okay with it. But it didn't really sit right with me. And this kind of feels like that. And that's like he's getting her to do drugs. Okay, pop this, then you good enough. On my tonguey tongue, he put his thummy thumb. It's kind of a predatory story, which I don't think fits in with the sort of girl bossness of Ice Spice. But then there's a beautiful multisyllabic run here. I'm going to read the 3-syllable run. Some of these are mosaic rhymes. If you don't know, mosaic rhymes are when you rhyme one word with 2 words. Okay, so that's like escargot, my cargo, right? Famously by Biggie. So this is her multisyllabic runs. Are you ready? Plenty ones, many guns, tummy runs, hella sons, anyone, plenty sun, dirty lungs, getty ones, bitches bums, meticulous, meticulous. That is, in fact, rhyme skill. And she tells us throughout the album many times that she writes her own lyrics, and I believe it. Did It First is another one of these just great, just awesome produced. Very weird sample, kind of Jersey clubbish, but more ambitious here. And she's talking, if he cheats on me, I'm going to do it first, reverse. What's cool is on her verse, again, multisyllabic, not 3-syllable, just 2, the whole run on dipping. There's the sound of a gun cocking back. And then on Central C's verse, with his awesome British accent, the strongest guest appearance by far on the album is Central C. It's just great. Is actually the gun shooting. And it's kind of a nice setup. Setup and payoff. It's Chekhov's ch-chick. Arsenic. Again, not really a full song, sort of a TikTok template, but again, I refer you to people who refuse to listen to gramophones because live music is the only way to listen to music. Then we get to BB Belt and then Thank You the Ish Fart, which I've already did I've did a video about that song. So you can watch that video. I'll include a link to it at the end of this. Give Me a Light, another very ambitiously produced song. Now it's got drill percussion, but it's got this reggae, this Sean Paul sample that's really cool. And she has this whole attacking cadence. Big knock, I'm not a fighter, big ice, I don't need a writer. Her man calling me baby, I'm Miss Poopy. I need a diaper. I just changed a poopy diaper 23 minutes ago. And you see this video is 22 minutes long, which means the life of Professor Skye. I change a diaper. I bring the baby downstairs, leave it with my wife, and I go to record this. You know what? I am a fart. The album ends with TTYL, which stands for the third yodeler Lincoln. Very cool atmosphere, kind of a more interesting beat again. This whole line, no rocks, no scissors, just getting that paper. Cool stutter step here with the beat. And she's saying her only bad habit is shopping too much, an empty store. The other day I was looking at a Minnie Mouse coloring book, and it just had her saying, all shopped out. And I just thought how depressing it is because I have all these daughters and stuff, and I'm just like, no. It can't still be the thing. So, conclusion. Is Ice Spice one of the top 5 rappers right now? Did she fulfill her promise, or is she trash and her 50 minutes is up? You know who I am. I am a professor. If I ever tell you, is it A or B, the answer is always going to be both. Don't sit at the end of the video thinking I'm going to say one way or the other. No, she's probably not top 5. Probably not. I mean, just this year, Schoolboy Q, Megan Thee Stallion, there's a lot of other people who could be on that, Kendrick, obviously. Just this year, she's getting bumped out of the top 5. This did not reach my high expectations, okay? So I thought she could actually take this thing that she knows how to do and just explode it and make it into just an amazing thing where everyone else said, I didn't know she had it in her, and I could say I did. I'm not going to say that, but is also super duper not trash. She is developing her style. She is young. She is new to rapping. More important than being young, she's new to rapping. I think she has a lot of space to go up. I love that she's still working with the same producer. I like that she's developing flows. I like that she's working hard on her rhyme. I like that she's putting forth a persona that's interesting. And I think that we should all be very happy that Ice Spice is still here. Okay? So, there's my conclusion. I'm going to go down and hang out with my baby some more. Maybe I'll call her Miss Poopy. All right. Till next time. There's the camera.